Space, space, space. What space? You know, I just recently recently as I would say almost a year, began to understand what holding space really means. I think it's one of these words that we use a lot, especially with like the Western spiritual awakening, with the higher self and the lower self. There's this word space, like hold space. And I want to share something that possibly many of you find it something simple, but I find it like a deep realization that opened up like a well of knowledge for me. And that is, what does it mean, like, I'll pray for you? I remember there were days that I used to get really like upset when I would share something that's going on in my life and someone would say, I'll be praying for you. And I'll be like, that's not what I need. Do you want to pay my bills? Or do you want to kiss my bruises? Because what do you mean you're going to pray for me? You're going to sit in your comfort zone and pray for me? And a lot, just these type of comments. Of course, a lot of them are said without intentions, like remote control. It's like robot. We learned it from our parents, or we repeat it. And so when it's said like that, it definitely has definitely doesn't have any impact. But prayer, meditation, what it is supposed to do is hold space. And what's space? People who are suffering, people who are facing challenges, humanity. And that also is for animals, but we're talking about people here. Everybody's going through stuff, whatever you want to call it. Some of us call it suffering, some of us call it growing, some of us call it dancing, some of us call it the fire. Whatever you look at it as, what helps us get over it without being damaged is the space we get to feel. Because we need to feel through something in order to come out of it undamaged. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, in every way. And holding space allows the person to go through it with the least or no damage at all. And it's possible. And holding space is an energetic action, an inner action of stillness that we choose to take while a friend, a child, a spouse, a stranger is going through something. And it is actually taking the breath, listening to what they have to say, but listening without any desire to response, any intentions to help or fix, just space. If you want to build a house, you need space. If you want to study to become something, you need space, and that's the time. If you want to heal, you need space. You need the knowledge of how to. You need space. Space is time. Space is validation. Space is knowledge of the heart. And that has to be given by someone else, because we're oneness. We're all one and we're all connected. We can't take space by ourselves, because we are dependent on others' information and on others' strength and on others' energy for the space. That's just facts. We cannot build ourselves by ourselves. We cannot build a home ourselves. It'll take forever. There are many talents that are necessary. That's not because we are not good enough. It's because we are oneness. And that's how holding space for someone else who's going through a difficult time is one of the most biggest favors you can ever offer someone. However, one of the most important things when you want to hold space is learning how to hold space. And that's something that I am learning, and I've learned a lot through sitting with gurus, sitting with people who, and not only gurus, enlightened people, truly enlightened people who have navigated the inner world, the upper dimensions, because that work is no scientist yet can teach you how to hold space. They can teach you about the molecules and the neurons and all of that, all of the things that can be seen under a microscope, but they cannot guide you with anything beyond that at this point. That's why the spiritual work helps you navigate the internal world, which is equally and more important, because the spiritual world has deep, deep, deep dimensions and elements that you need to travel and break through in order to understand. As in the physical world, it's physical. It's just, you got to learn the information that has been delivered. And maybe you can do more studies at the lab and teach more to others. So go out there, hold space. Hold space for others, for yourself, just by breathing, saying nothing. Give them a piece of land, internal piece of land to feel. Through that, they can figure out what they need to heal. Have a beautiful day.